If any of your teams are interested in understanding how the agreement works, I'm more than happy to get on a phone call and answer questions that you might have. Additionally, the fee structure that Theophil describes is for members that join ahead and with the launch of the funding project. And so if you were to join in, say, September, that would be a different fee. So if we can be helpful in answering questions before the project launch, for example, this month or next month, please let me know. I'm going to share my screen right now. I did drop into the chat the link to the fund, and we can follow this up with an email that has a link to the enrollment process as well. So let me turn on my screen share. All right, can everybody see the Sylva logo at the top?
No, actually, we're seeing a wallpaper.
Psychedelic Sky.
Are you seeing a member enrollment screen? Let me make it a little bigger.
I think it's a wrong screen because we can only see a
desktop.
Yes.
All right. Teams is not letting me show anything else. Do you want to take that link, Theophile, and see if?
Sure. Okay. Let me share. Just a minute. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the page you wanted me to share?
That's it exactly. That's it exactly. So if you go to that link, you'll be presented with an enrollment page. This should look very familiar if you've signed up for other Linux Foundation directed funds. This will allow you to enter in contact information for the project, information about your company. You can include a company logo here for display, and general information. This process will allow you to choose your membership tier, and you can also download a review copy of the agreement. So you can get a PDF copy for your legal teams to review directly from this portal. We can offline send you a link as well, but you can get it straight from this portal. It has 5 steps, which includes this basic screen of member information, then a membership tier, billing information in the 3rd step for who should receive the invoice for the project, and finally step 4 is contact information to be entered, and step 5 would be review and submission of the agreement itself. That's an electronic signing process. So this is intended to be very fast, and while it does require you to enter in some information in terms of contacts for the project, all of that information is then loaded into our backend systems for creation of mailing lists and other information that the project can immediately start to use. So this cuts down on emails going back and forth and paper recording of information and documents. And that's essentially it. I will say, as many of you that have participated in Linux Foundation US projects know, it's a requirement to be a member of the Linux Foundation, and that exists here too, except of course, it's a requirement to be a participant in Linux Foundation Europe. Many of your companies already are participants in Linux Foundation Europe. If you are not, this system will prompt you to join Linux Foundation Europe at the same time. And so as you go through the sign-up process, it will automatically tell you if that's a step that you need to take, and it'll help you with the paperwork for that step as well. For those of you that are already members of the Linux Foundation in the US, there is a €0 cost, a free reciprocal membership option that you can select as long as you choose the same level that you are in the US. For example, if you are a silver member in the US, check the silver level for Linux Foundation Europe and there will be no charge. And that's essentially the process. We're available if you run into problems or questions. And again, I want to emphasize when you get to step 2 on the membership tier, on that, you'll be able to download a review copy of the agreement, and we'll send one around after the call for those that are interested as well. And apologies that I can't share my full screen. It's just giving you the wrong screen. And I think, Theophile, it won't let you go to the second step unless you fill in the information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
I can.
So, but this is the portal. It should look familiar for those of you that have done this before. And again, if you run into problems, we're here to help. Any questions?
Scott, you mentioned some tier model, Sylva. Could you repeat that? How is that related to this process?
Certainly. So Theophile explained that there's 2 membership levels in the project. There's the premier member category, and then there's the general member category. They have different pricing structures. The general member has a lower fee and a sliding fee scale based on headcount. And the reason for that is to allow organizations to participate at a lower funding level. However, the rights are different in the sense that if you are a premier member, you get a seat on the governing board, and the governing board controls the budget. If you're a general member, you don't have a direct voice on the governing board. And so those are the 2 tiers, and that's what you would be selecting. If you want a seat on the governing board, you would choose the premier seat, the premier tier, rather.
But you also mentioned something about the US versus Europe.
Yes. So if you are not already a participant in Linux Foundation Europe, you will need to sign up for Linux Foundation Europe. Linux Foundation Europe has the same participation levels that Linux Foundation US has. So for example, we have Platinum, Gold, and Silver. If you are a Platinum member of Linux Foundation US, you can sign up for no cost as a Platinum member of Europe. If, however, for example, you're a Gold member of Linux Foundation US, you can sign up for no cost as a Gold member of Linux Foundation Europe. But if you select Platinum, you'll trigger a 500,000 euro invoice. So unless you want to change your level, our recommendation is to click the same level that you are in the US. And if there's any questions about that, just reach out to us and we'll help you out.
One question, Scott. So if we are Linux Foundation, we can become Linux Foundation Europe members at no cost, at €0. So there's no
as
billing
long as
involved.
it's the same level, yes.
Yes. So there's no billing involved in this case. No, the billing contact will not receive any bill, any invoice, right?
The billing information here is for the Sylva project, and you will receive an invoice for Sylva.
Okay. So the process is the same, but the billing will be, we will not have any invoice for €0. We will only have the invoice for the Sylva project, right?
Sponsorship.
That's correct. Linux Foundation Europe is a formality as long as you're already a Linux Foundation US member, and the invoice will be only for Sylva.
Okay.
Scott, another question. Is there any limitation on number of seats on the premier level?
Yes, actually, there are the seats are limited to 13.
I see.
Everything is detailed in the charter. I can have a later some time to present you more precisely, maybe at the end of the meeting, the structure of the fund and the governance. But as it takes some time, maybe we can do this at the end of the the TSC or on a dedicated call.
Yeah, if you could share a link, that will probably be enough.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, but we can start to present it at the end of this TSC. Yeah.
Okay, and as to end this topic, so we are planning to make a public announcement of this fund with the sponsor that have with the first sponsors at the end of June. Meaning that if you want to be in the picture of this public announcement and if you want to benefit from the, let's say, the discount for the first year of the project, please enroll quickly and contact us if you need any information.
Is
Okay,
there
then-
any other question on this? Okay, it seems it's clear
Thank
to
you all.
everyone. Thank you, Scott, for your presentation. And let's return to the main agenda.
Thank you very much, Scott.
So let's return to the beginning of our agenda and to the list of the different working group and move to working group number 1 that is related to the cloud stack development. I leave to Mathieu the floor to describe the situation of this working group.
Okay. Thank you, Giuseppe. So what I need to tell you is that we released last week a minor version of the Sylva stack. The purpose was to be able to fully support OCI-based deployment. We have fixed some little bugs related to that part. And we are still discussing actively the request for announcement. The goal for us is really to focus on what is going to be done for the v0.2. We still plan to deliver a v0.2 version of Sylva before end of June. And the goal for this version is to support a full bare metal deployment and to be able to host on workload clusters some performance-oriented CNF that need technologies such as SIOV. Okay, so we agreed during the last meeting to cut the RFE process for the v0.2 at the end of May. It's a bit late, but we keep working on those RFEs, so they are still active and under review. So we still need some discussions. Anyway, the development has already been started for the elements that we know have to be part of the v0.2. And that's all for me.
Any question on this?
Just comments that there's specific ongoing work on the bare metal part, common work with different partners of Sylva, and it's very key for this project. So yeah, it's an important topic. Thanks.
Okay, so let's move to WG number 2, that is the validation center, and I leave the floor to Luis.
Hello, I'm Luis. Okay, so for the validation center, as you may remember, we have 2 lines of work here. One is the validating CNFs, and the other is evolution of the process itself, the validation process itself. Okay, so on the first line of work, the validation of the CNFs, we have one we are working on, but we found a blocking issue 2 weeks ago. We are still blocked there, and the team, the Nokia product team, is still reviewing the issue just to identify workaround or a solution for this. So we have not, in the last 2 weeks, we didn't have much progress on that. In the second line of work, in the evolution of the validation process itself. We have been working successfully in creating a script. There's a draft available already to validate that the CNF is using the SRIOV capability. Still, this capability does not exist in Sylva, but when we have it in version 0.2, we will be able to validate that the network function is using this capability, which is an important, let's say, element to test. And actually, this script can be used itself by the working group 1 to actually test that SRIOV is incorporated into Sylva version 2. So it has two purposes: validating that the CNF is used by the platform, but also validating that the platform incorporates this capability. So this is what we have done. Still blocked in the network function validation that we have in progress, and we have progress in preparing the next cycles of validation. So what we want to do in the future? Well, first of all, identify new network functions to validate, because if we keep blocking in this one, we will start with another one. And also we are starting to work in creating, for the second line of work, new scripts for other capabilities. SRIOV is one of the telco grade capabilities, but there are others like CPU pinning, Hugh pages, Multus, PTP, that we will also create scripts to confirm that they are available in the platform and they can be used and they are effectively used by the network functions. So this is what we will plan to do in the next 2 weeks. And that's all from my side.
Do you have any question on this part? It seems no, so let's move to WG number 3, that is on security requirements. Please, Theophile.
Yes, so on security, we're still working on the operational security requirements inside the EUCS certification scheme. Maybe an update on the EUCS certification scheme. I don't know if you heard the news recently, but a new draft was released by the European Union. So this new draft is not very different from the first draft we were working on. So it's a good news. And we updated. Maybe I can share my screen.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if you can see.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you go to the main wiki page of the Sylva project repository, you will see in the requirement tab on the right all the security requirements we've been working on. Okay, so for example, and there are many pages. You have to click on view all pages to see the different categories. So we finished to write down the requirements on IAM, so identity and access management, and also on the cryptography and key management part. So for example, if we go to the IAM requirements, all the requirements are listed here. So we took those requirements from the EUCS certification scheme, and we adapted themselves. We adapted them to the context of Sylva. And for each of those features, we explain what is the version of Sylva where the feature is implemented. So for example, for the identifier and credential management, it is implemented already in the v0.1 for Sylva. For the second requirement, it's also done, so it's the integration of a rancher and keycloak inside Sylva, so it's also down. For the third one, for example, it's the asset management part. It's still not done yet, and the target is later than the v0.3. So you can see, so you can have a view on all the requirements and the corresponding targeted version of Sylva where they could be implemented. So this is the news. So do not hesitate to check those wiki pages and give feedback if needed. So again, this wiki page is at the root of the Sylva project repository in GitLab. You just have to go to the main wiki page. So that's all for the security requirement workgroup. Thank you.
Do you have any question on this workgroup?
Sorry, again, an additional comment. Théophile mentioned about the last version of EUCS. What Théophile has not shared to you is that this version is introducing a new high level of the EUCS that limit the usage of hyperscaler solution to reach this high level of certification. And for the time being, there are no EU regulation that obliged the operators, the telco operators, to implement the EUCS. But what we think is that some local, some state regulation might impose that kind of certification scheme.
Okay, thank you, Guillaume. Any other comment or question on this? Okay, let's move to the next working group. That is, let me share it. Working group number 4 on energy efficiency. I believe that Sandara is not in the meeting. Guillaume, do you have something to say about this?
Yeah, what Sandara shared to us is that the next step is the implementation of a tool, Kepler, which is an open source tool from Red Hat, which allows us to have a CNF energy measurement.
Okay, thank you. Any question on this? No, then I leave the floor to André on working group 5.
Thank you. So in terms of progress that we are doing right now is to prepare the GitLab interview for the end of June, then that we want to do on their YouTube channel. We are going to do the script and we expect to circulate it latest next week, and then to schedule the day with the GitLab communication team. That is our homonymus in GitLab. And also we are managing the press release position and draft for the directed fund creation, and we are having some progress on the adoption to begin to have some use cases, and we will have more news next week regarding the next session regarding the progress and adoption. So we are starting not only to do this work on the communication, but also in terms of adoption and to try to have the initial POCs with Sylva.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we can say some word about the proposal of the next onboarding session.
Yes. The next onboarding session is for the 31st of June. They are here the people that are going to be invited. If everyone agrees with this date, we can proceed, and we can send the invitation.
Yes, as usual, the onboarding session is confirmed when we have enough new interested partners to join it. Okay, any question on this part, on this WG? It seems not. So let's move again to WG6. As we spent a few time on the first 5 WG, we have enough time to describe here the charter of the directed fund, I think.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Giuseppe. So let me share my screen again. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go full screen. Okay, so those are the two membership levels presented in the screen. So as a premier sponsor, the normal annual fees are 50 kilo euros, and the benefits are one voting representative into the governing board. Okay, so the fund is managed by a governing board. If you're a premier sponsor, you will have one seat. There is a limited number of premier sponsors. The limited number is 13. And to be appointed as a new premier sponsor, you will need to pass a validation from the Sylva Technical Steering Committee, so this steering committee, and also an approval from the existing governing board of the directed fund. Then, if you want to be a general sponsor, so there is a scale of fees depending of the number of employees in your company. And you will have a voting representative depending on the number of general sponsor in the fund, and you can join at no conditions. So how is it organized? The governing board is managing the budget and will take all the decisions. The two co-chairs of the Sylva TSC are also part of this governing board. So this means that today the two co-chairs are Giuseppe and Guillaume. So they will be part of this governing board to ensure that the targets of the fund are the same and are helping actually the open source project. And this governing board will rely on three committees. So one for the validation program, one for the outreach, so the communication and marketing, and another one for the stack development. So each committee will have to establish a budget for their dedicated work group. So, for example, the outreach committee will establish annually a budget for the marketing and communication spendings of the Sylva project. I don't know, for example, okay, we need one website for Sylva. It's 20 kilo euros. And so they will establish a budget, and then they will validate, they will propose the budget to the governing board, and the governing board will validate the expenses. So the validation program committee will establish a budget for the validation program work group inside the Sylva project. So, for instance, if we need some maintenance, some platforms, we need some licenses, if we need some external professional services to help on the validation program, this budget will be established inside the validation program committee. And then there is also the stack development committee that will establish a budget for the stack development work group, so the work group 1 led by Mathieu. And in the committees, there will be one voting representative per premier sponsor and one non-voting representative per general sponsor. So if you join the fund as a general sponsor, you will have one non-voting seat in each of those committees to propose ideas and challenge that budget. And also each leader of the Sylva work groups will be represented in those committees. So this means that for the validation program committee, Luis Velarde will be represented in this committee. For the outreach committee, so it is André as the leader of the communication work group who will be sitting in this committee. And for the stack development committee, so today it is Mathieu that is leading this work group. So then he will have a seat inside this committee. So this is the organization of the fund. So we wanted to keep it very simple and pragmatic at the beginning because we don't have a lot of area of budget for now. The three main elements are marketing and communication, the stack development needs, and the validation program needs. So I don't know if at this stage you have questions on the governance of this fund. Okay, so all of this is detailed in the charter of the fund that you will access through the enrollment process. If you have any question, do not hesitate to ask me or Scott, and we will clarify the point. And also, I wanted to tell you that this governance can move, can change in time, depending on the needs of the fund and of the yes. And so for the first year of the project, we'll need to establish a first budget, and we will focus on all of the expenses related to marketing and communication. So if you have no question, we will put those slides in the minutes of the meeting so everyone can accept them.
Are you going to circulate also the text of the charter?
Yes, yes. I will share a PDF version of the charter. Yes.
Okay. Any comments or question on this?
No, just a general comments about how we could potentially use the money that will be put for the development of the stack. We are here to produce some production ready stack. So it means that we do need a lot of resources to assess that the stack is ready and to have some resources to at least have an infrastructure to run the CI. This is very important for us. This is a key topic when you want to achieve something that is production ready.
Okay. Any other comment or question on this part? Fine. We reached the end of our agenda for today. Do you have any other topics you want to discuss now?
Hey, hi guys, Seshu here. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Seshu. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Julian, one thing actually, we got a positive response from the ORAN. Regarding, I want to just continue, clarify or put some point about the recent meeting which we had in the ORAN talk, TOC. And there was a positive feedback for that. And I see that there is a interest from the ORAN INF project, the infrastructure project, which works on the cloud, and most likely they'll be inviting us to present our idea in their specific group, because the work which we are doing is very much in line to what they are trying to do, and they want to collaborate on that. So they are interested to have some meetings as part of their initial part in their meeting, and they'll be also. I would also like to invite them here, where we can listen to what they are doing for the O2 IMS and ODMS, right? The specific part there.
Hello.
Okay, so you want to be in touch with the ORAN community?
Yes, I'm part of the ORAN community already. As Julian knows, I'm the ORAN SC. I am SMO PTL. I'm already a SMO PTL for ORAN SC. I'm also the SO PTL for OMAP, and I'm also TSC member for NEFIO and MCode, ONAP, and also other projects, XGVLA, for example.
Yeah, it's it's very valuable, Seshu, your participation within the ORAN software community and NEFIO, and we think definitely that we need to have a strong interlock between these three initiatives. So it's something we are building, and you are mentioning also the SMO. So we need to clarify on the O2 interface that we want to expose within Sylva, how this will be re-implemented and recognized as as an implementation within the ORAN community.
Yeah. So for that, we can, yes, that's the point which I want to specify on. So ORAN SC INF is already implementing certain things in that. So we can collaborate so that we don't require to reinvent the wheel, and we can see how both the communities can participate in it. That's the whole point of it. So perhaps exactly. I can say that, yeah, that I can say that because both are under LF and both of them are open source. So, and Sylva, of course, we are trying to have as a SI for all the open sources, right? I see a good opportunity here where we can have some base. I mean, we can actually have a very good base from them to reuse the part which is which we want to use for ORAN. Other parts, anyways, we are building as a part of stack. So the way I would say is, I can see ORAN SC INF could to be part of the stack of the complete Sylva stack as we build, right? And then we can see how to take it forward, right? Maybe we can have a discussion on that. These are my thoughts, by the way, from what I can see.
No, it's so if you want to have a topic on this, yeah, I think I'm interested. Also, Lucian, I'm pretty sure that Nicoletta will be interested on it, and the same for Carlo. I don't want to nominate point the fingers on some key people around the table, but yeah.
Sure. So I think there'll be invite coming tomorrow in the talk also. That's what I came to know. I mean, by the way, I'm also the license officer between ONAP, ORAN, and also between certain other communities. So I can become the spoke of us to ORAN with your permission. I'm interested in it, but if you feel that can be done like that, then I can become the spoke for us to have the communication channel, like a license officer. I would say like a license officer, and then we can see how we can coordinate on this. Okay.
And don't hesitate during the general news to give updates on the follow-up on that kind of topic.
Because I'm also part of the LFN MAC. By the way, I'm also part of the LFN MAC board. I'm a board member for LFN MAC, so I understand how the communication happens between different community, different groups, and all. So that experience will surely come handy for this also, right? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Seshu.
No problem. So yeah, I mean, tomorrow I think we will have the discussion on the talk, and perhaps I'll see when INF meeting is happening next time. And I'll send off the message to you, Julian, Nicoletta, and anyone interested in, so that we can go as a group and understand what they're doing there and see how we can leverage each other, right? That's the whole point. Guys.
I will add to the minutes your proposal, Seshu. Thanks.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for this proposal. Any other comments or question?
I just want to welcome David Carrera from Nearby Computing. David wants to be on the next onboarding session, but it's an opportunity to have a first interaction with our initiative.
Thank you, and nice to talk to you all, guys. I've been listening, trying to catch up, but I think the onboarding session is going to be very helpful. So nice and interesting to be here. Thank you for inviting.
Okay, fine. So I believe we are at the end of this TSC. Before closing it, I want to inform you that the next one is planned on 31st of May. So thank you very much for your participation. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye.